There's no doubting, when it comes to doing things properly, Qatar stands head and shoulders above the rest. A quick peek into the future reveals top sporting occasions, including the FIFA World Cup 2022, to be held with an infrastructure that will take your breath away. No surprise then, when the decision was made to hold an international powerboat festival, it would have to be the biggest and the best.
The venue's second to none, and they've done everything plus.
The beginning of a new era, pioneering and ambitious in every sense. Welcome to the 2015 Qatar Cup, Doha. In the theatre of powerboat dreams, 100 teams in 6 different classes from Australasia, America, Europe and the 7 GCC countries, assembling for 3 days of incredible spectacle. And with Vodafone on board, there's a simple message.
The joy of Qatar is a real commitment to sport of any type, and this is a serious high-performance sport, and for us it's a bit different.
But will he give it a go?
The CEO is out on the boat for the first time. This is the first time that we're launching the boat today, so he's gone for this inauguration run today, and hopefully we can keep him happy and to continue with their support for the rest of the season.
Like a duck to water.
Well, we did 100.
How was it?
It was good fun. I was just glad we didn't turn a corner, because I can't imagine what it must be like to turn a corner. Straight line, no problem.
And turning the corner is what many sports commentators believe Qatar is achieving here. With powerboating, the amalgamation of so many of the disciplines under one umbrella has long been considered the best way of attracting major sponsorship while keeping spectators entertained with non-stop action. Also offering Qatar's younger generation the chance of experiencing the limelight. Some will harbour ambitions of progressing to bigger things. This is their big stage too. An opportunity to take a look at the road ahead, while at the same time getting noticed. In the first of our 3 programmes from this groundbreaking event, we focus our attention on Supercat Light and the Supercat classes. Pitting some of America's quickest offshore powerboat racers against their counterparts from Europe, the Middle East and Far East. An international lineup that hasn't been seen in the sport for a long while, if ever, and nurturing an aspirational QMSF plan to host a future Ryder Cup-style competition. Racing on an 8-kilometre circuit with a start lap of 10, 2 races will be held for each class with double points on the second to decide who goes home with the coveted trophies. Supercat will race separately. Spirit of Qatar racing for Cancer, Outer Limits and Pro Floor Racing most likely to contest the podium places. So, to day 1 and the time trials to determine grid positions for the Grand Prix.
We always push for number 1. We don't look for number 2. We always look for number 1. We're going to push for number 1.
I'll be honest, still I'm not happy 100% regarding my boat, because the first test for us is today. This first time I use stock gearbox and stock engine, but anyway I take the pole.
With America's number 1 hot on his heels.
We love that race course. It's better than a rectangle. It actually requires driving. It spreads the boats out because it's a longer course, and we're very happy with it.
Abu Dhabi's experienced fella Al Mansouri and Rashid Al-Tara qualified 3rd, with USA's second hotshot 4th.
So our first lap around wasn't the best, but we regrouped. Our second lap was great. We're happy with it, and we're done for the day. We're gonna race tomorrow.
With home favourites Qatar running them hard from 5th. In Supercat, Ali Al-Nima and Billy Moore top the timings in Spirit of Qatar 20.
But with the sun in our eyes and the other boats out there in the wakes and stuff, we didn't get the quickest time that we wanted, but I think we're still in good shape.
Jay Cook and Randy Swears are second quickest ahead of Joe Segro and Steve Curtis. Brett Firschman and Billy Gluck, USA, are next. Then George and Michael Stancombe, Peterson May and Wayne Valder and Chris Hanley, New Zealand.
Quite calm conditions, but with that sun on the water late this afternoon made it a little bit more difficult. It was very hard to read.
We're not here to mess around. We want to take some hardware home.
Jay Price and Paul Boudreau, USA, are 7th. Not much to choose between the top 3, but keep your eye on Peterson May, Pro Floors and Motley Crue when the handicapping kicks in. More about that later. Less complicated in the Supercat light standings. Difficult here to see anyone troubling the top 3, but it is double points, remember, on the final race, and that might change a lot. Here they are then, Supercat lights almost lined up and ready to roll. Race 1 of 2, sea conditions flat, throttles poised, green means go, and hammer down for the long 6-kilometre drag race to the vital first pin. Hull versus Victory, the early headline. Then the boys in blue turn the screw. Outrun to turn 1, 1 minute 50.4 seconds, 176.4 kilometres an hour. The Hulk, 1 second astern, 175.6. Abu Dhabi, a third. Stock engines here, 2x280 Mercury outboards, 600 horsepower at the propellers, top speed 200 kilometres an hour. 40 of the 90 kilometres completed. After a disastrous start, Mohammed Al Nasser with this brave effort, putting Qatar to within 1 place of a podium finish, at the expense of America's Ballou and Bruggerman. Halfway top 5. Victory 3, the Hulk, USA, Abu Dhabi Racing, UAE, Qatar Team, and Smart Marine, USA. Victory with the fastest lap so far, 3 minutes 17.7 seconds, almost 180 kilometres an hour, and that on a 5-pin track that includes a left-hander. And that's the way it stays on a day no one will catch the hugely talented pairing from Dubai. Current ex-Cat World Champions, current Class 1 World Champions, and now one hand on the Qatar Cup.
Victory is known worldwide, all around the world. No matter what condition it is, we always have to win the race.
You had the inside line all the time. That helped, obviously.
Yeah, it definitely helped. We had a good start. We don't forget this is a new boat for us, a new setup. But we are trying to improve, and hopefully for Saturday we'll do something better.
Let's not forget Nunziato and Lawrence, the Hulk within 4 seconds of the mighty Dubai team. And a warning, Saturday's showdown is no foregone conclusion. Supercat next, and an assembly of 8 boats with a range of 1,000 horsepower to almost 3, which includes 2 mighty powered monohulls. Green flag, and into their power curve which stretches the imagination. 60 kilometres an hour to 200 plus in a boat in less than 3 seconds is a blast of Formula 1 proportions. Okay then, let's run through the handicapping I mentioned earlier. And basically, the boat with the highest aggregate of points over the 2 races wins the trophy. But with differing horsepower, that would hardly be fair without some sort of parity. So, to give the lower horsepower boats a sniff at the silverware, 1 short lap is included for them. After the compulsory long lap for everyone, 3 boats, Motley Crue, Peterson May and NZ1, will take 1 5-kilometre hop around the islands, while the others remain on the normal 8-kilometre lap. This puts the lower horsepower boats considerably in front the next time around, and from then on it's brute force versus tactics as the minnows defend against the sharks for the remainder of the race. The theory, of course, is everyone should arrive at the checkered flag at roughly the same time, and while that will always remain unlikely, Where there is insufficient boats in given classes to make up a decent racing platform for each of them, at least with this blueprint, everyone on the water gets a chance to do battle several times during a race, and spectators get to see lots of overtaking and close action. It's pioneering and attracting a lot of global attention. Also, the course includes that left-hander on the back straight, and while not particularly sharp, will probably prove troublesome for some. As predicted in this, the first race of two to decide who picks up the inaugural Qatar Cup, the 120-kilometre contest is packed with overtaking and deck-to-deck rubbing. Twisted metal apart, that is. After leading at the end of lap 1, the big trio, Qatar 20, Outer Limits 43 and Racing for Cancer 33 are then left hunting down the resurgent trio, Motley Crue 00, Peters and May 2 and Pro Floor Racing's NZ1, who lead on lap 2 after taking their short lap. It's a terrific scrap. Pro Floors holding off until the penultimate lap before being overhauled first by Qatar 20 and then Outer Limits. Then successfully defending against Racing for Cancer. It's a massive result for the Kiwis. Motley Crue also acquit themselves well, succumbing in the end to Outer Limits' superior firepower, but finishing within 10 seconds of them to secure a useful fifth. Double points here also for the second race on Saturday, with all 8 boats now standing some sort of chance of making the podium. Peters and May come home in 6th ahead of Thorndon. Twisted Metal, as we saw, retired. But no doubt about the winners. Qatar 20 keeping home fans happy with a rousing victory over Outer Limits.
I'm happy what I get and happy for everyone. Good race, everyone safe. And I hope for, again, next race, I will be in Belgium, I think. Inshallah.
We got up into second. We knew we got up into second. We were really pushing for the lead, and then we spun it at the bottom end a little bit, and then poked it to get back around. After that, we were done. But it was a lot of fun out there. Yeah, a lot of driving to do.
There was no doubt about it. It was one of the hardest races that I have raced. Concentration was, 300%. There was wakes out there. We were trimmed out on the knife edge. We had to really be on our game. It didn't come easy.
Infectious enthusiasm, lots of smiles and a trophy that's still up for grabs. Who could ask for more? It may not look much, but this piece of machinery might just save a driver's life when their boat crashes. It's called a dunker and is used to prepare a driver for the inevitable. Every onboard crewman must go through this mandatory test to ensure they don't panic when the inevitable happens. And Qatar's Ali Al-Nima knows exactly what that's like.
It is important in case if you have accident, so you know how you use this, how you go out of the boat. I have 2 times the boat turned over, last time in America and first time in Australia. So I use it, and so so how you know how you go out. So it's important you do this before the race.
Even for a 9 times world champion who's also hit the deck a time or 2.
I'm used to doing it now for real and in a dunker, but yeah, it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, what's worse, doing for real or doing the dunker?
It was cold, so it's pretty awful there today, but no, it doesn't matter. It does really prepare you for it. It really does. It's not just a surprise when it does happen. If you're going to push hard, you are going to have accidents.
It's also complemented in this Doha series by a comprehensive rescue diver package.
Out on the course today, we got 6 rescue boats. We have a 6-mile course, which is total 3 miles from end to end. We should have less than a 60-second response to any incident. We've got defibrillators out on the water. We've got intubation, advanced life support for the drivers, all the water extrication, divers on each boat. So we're pretty pleased with the safety that we have here in Qatar. They have a level 1 trauma center that's 10 minutes away. That's something that we don't have at a lot of events here in the United States. So what Qatar is offering us is a really wonderful place.
As an unconscious driver underwater, if you're not reached and resuscitated within 3 minutes, brain damage can result. A sobering thought to end the penultimate day with just 2 races left after this short break. After the frenetic action of Thursday, Friday is sand day, and following on from other cultural occasions serves as a cue for the teams in understanding what a stunning and friendly country this is. Back now though for the finals. Supercat Light first, 1 long start lap 10 kilometres, then 11 race laps 8 kilometres, 99 kilometres in total. Green flag, and on their way. Good clean start. Double points, let me remind you, technically means any one of the 8 could still lift the title. And on the evidence so far, one definitely more likely than the others to run off with the bounty. The Hulk in hot pursuit of victory 3, chasing a rainbow or 2 already. Abu Dhabi 5, Smart Marine 110 and Wicked Performance number 6, making up the top 5, but LA Marine out. A bad week just got worse for Alan Christie and Lee Austin. Turn 1, the 2 Middle East boats still split by America's number 1. Nunziato and Lawrence still all to do in the Hulk. Trailing victory team after race 1 must finish ahead of them here in this one if they're to take the coveted title back to American shores. Still very much in touch, but again needing to find the elusive fractions. Definitely with the edge in straight line speed, but lacking acceleration at the start and out of the turns, which is undoubtedly the key in beating the Dubai outfit. Victory lap average speed 180.87 kilometres an hour. The Hulk 180.07. Straight line though, victory 3 190.1. The Hulk 190.52, which is quicker. They're small margins and quickly gobbled up by small errors. Not that victory team make many of those these days. So it is pressure on the Hulk. And just looking back at the start, definitely legal, but once that green flag goes up, it's blue from there on. 48 of the 90 kilometres completed. 2 good laps here from the Hulk, trims nearly 2 seconds off the leaders. 3 more required to get level. Abu Dhabi are 3rd, Peterson May 111 5th, behind Muller and Wagner, who are 4th. Qatar 94 6th, there they are, making ground after another average start by their standards. All a long way off victory 3. Route 1, clipping the marks, keeping it mean, keeping it clean, and keeping the lead. 65 kilometres done, 25 to go. Qatar closing on 111. The Hulk holding ground, just 0.1 of a second slower than victory the last time around. Al Safin and Bin Hendy just plugging the gap a little now. So, all or nothing for the Americans. Abu Dhabi hovering, hoping for a late bonus maybe. Less than 3 laps to the checkered flag. And looking at the action further back, Mohammed Al Nasser finding enough space here to squeeze between 111 and the turn boy to fire Qatar 94 into 5th. And good skills here from the Qatar driver, carrying sufficient speed through the eye of a needle to nail his man before they reach the next turn. Nice. Leader then coming up to lap, Peterson May in 6th. The Hulk, by the way, beginning to drop off the pace again. Their deficit of 0.1 seconds, now 1.1. Victory's lead back to 4 seconds. A mountain here for the USA now, and one they will not climb unless they get very lucky. Victory's last 4 laps, incidentally. 3 minutes 18.9 seconds, 3 minutes 19.1, 3 minutes 18.5 and 3 minutes 18.7. It's a model of consistency unmatched by anyone else on the day, or probably in recent history. And it is further evidence of their ability to achieve their optimum on virtually any occasion or any sea conditions. They are paramount and into Doha's famous Corniche for the final time. A third top trophy in 12 months beckons for the undisputed #1s of world offshore powerboat racing. Nader bin Hendy and Arif Al Saveen are the new Qatar Cup Superlight champions. Pushed all the way by Robert Nunziato and Dan Lawrence from the beginning of race 1 to the checkered flag at the end of race 2.
Wow! They're pretty strong. Don't forget, for us, this is a new venue and a totally different setup because it's stock engines. This is our second race. You know, the first race they were in front of us. This race we kept them at the back. Hopefully, if we continue the championship, you'll see the victory, real victory team.
This is a new venue for you. How did you find the Qatari water?
We're used to it. We came and raced here in Class 1. We're used to the waters here. It's not a problem for anywhere we race. It's not a problem for victory team.
We had a great time. It was a fun race course, really fast, really great, doing 9 turns at 110 miles an hour. It was a blast. I had a great time.
Oh, it did. How many times have we heard that this week? So here's your final points. Top 5, 2 teams from the UAE, 2 from the USA, 1 from Qatar. A fair reflection. And so to the final action of the fabulous powerboat festival. Supercat and Super V together for one final fling. 1 start lap, 13 race laps, including that short lap to give the lower horsepower boats a sporting chance. It's green, and here we go. Just to remind you, the horsepower of these boats range from just over 1,000 to just under 3,000. Sea conditions will benefit the catamarans over their more heavily powered V-boat opponents, while the lower powered get an early bonus of a short lap, which will put them comfortably ahead the second time around. Thereafter, it's a free-for-all. The team with the highest aggregate points over the 2 races will be your champion. Top 3 in race 1, you may recall Qatar 20, Outer Limits and NZ1 Pro Floors. 1 Supercat 750, 1 Super V, 1 lower powered cat. Qatar, USA and New Zealand represented. And the doubters said it wouldn't work. Blink and you miss it racing at its very best. And now out onto their short lap. Motley Crew 5th in race 1, Peterson May 6th and NZ1 3rd in race 1. More action than you can shake a stick at. Stimulating, electrifying and close. 20 of the 138 kilometres completed. All together at the front. Permutations, if Qatar win this race, it's their title. If Outer Limits win, they will triumph. Racing for Cancer will raise the cup if they win and Qatar finish 3rd. But none of them will be champions if NZ1 hit the front, which is likely at some point, and then no one catches them. Slight error here already. Qatar pushing Outer Limits wide there at the left-hander. Racing for Cancer through. Average speeds. Outer Limits 166.16 kilometres an hour. Racing for Cancer 168.88. Qatar 20 167.59. Around turn 1. Ahead of them, around 3-4 kilometres down the track. Motley Crew lead overall from Peters and May as they come off their short lap. There they are. NZ1 hoping to lead the charge of the lighter brigade. Slightly disappointing there in 3rd. Race order then after 40 kilometres. 0-0 Motley from 2. Peters and May. NZ Pro Floors. 33 Racing for Cancer. Then it's Qatar 20. 43 Outer Limits and 57 Thornton. 95 kilometres left for these three to fight off a closing pack and reap their rewards. And Qatar 20 hanging on the precipice a bit here. Second place fine for the moment, but with Racing for Cancer ahead and 43 dangerously close astern, dropping another place isn't an option. Different story again if they don't catch Motley, Peters and May, or NZ1. Shaky times coming up for the race 1 winners. Steve Curtis manipulating throttles on 43 seems to have discovered an overdrive. And now 20 going backwards. The other end, Wayne Varder and Chris Handley have snuck inside Peters and May. Now second, hunting Motley. It's all warming up. And on my reckoning, if it finishes like this, Motley and Racing for Cancer have 38 points. Qatar 37, Outer Limits 36 and NZ1 33. One position change though could alter everything. Long way to go. 70 kilometres to 0. NZ1 reeling in Motley Crew. The end result of this scrap now crucial. And just checking the lap times, you would expect the slower boats to be caught before the checkered flag, but then they have to get past, as we said earlier. NZ1 currently quicker than Motley Crew, will likely be leading when that happens. Then, if they can defend to the death and Qatar finish third, the trophy could indeed be headed east for Kiwi land. All total speculation, of course, but offshore powerboat racing is a sport with a potential calamity around every corner. Balder and Hanley still looking for a route past Motley Crew, which would give them a clear run to the finish line. But the chasing pack is closing in. Outer Limits and Racing for Cancer already onto Peters and May in third. There. Motley being pounded by NZ1. And a bit further back, 20 struggling in dirty water there. Less than 40 kilometres per any one from 5. It could go any way. But the first of the 3 brave hearts about to be gobbled up here, flanked by a total of 3,500 horsepower. Peters and May finally succumbing. And up ahead, another trump card on the left-hander, NZ1, slicing through Motley Crew to lead. But more importantly, they're now in championship position. Lining up for turn 4, but trouble brewing astern. You might have caught a glimpse if you know who. Racing for Cancer at full tilt. There they are. The New Zealanders came a long way to be here. What will they take home with them? A lot of pride for sure, but maybe not the crock of gold now. When we say Swears and Cook are at full tilt, that's exactly what we mean. One hell of a 10 kilometres from the American crew. But the Kiwis ain't done for yet. Fighting to the last. There will be one more lap after this one. Throttles on the stops, grimly hanging on to that inside track. But lacking top speed on the straights. That might be crucial. Drama behind 2. Outer Limits past Motley. Qatar 20 must now do the same, or the title will either be going to America or New Zealand. The dynamic is constantly changing. All out of 33's hands, finally applying the tourniquet to NZ1's challenge, it seems, so everything now depends on happenings astern. Kiwis guaranteed bronze, but now unless Qatar 20 can pass Outer Limits, they can only achieve silver at best. 3 kilometres to go, side by side. 43 regain inside track. But now, surely this is Qatar's to lose. But Outer Limits fighting back. still in with a chance of the big prize themselves. Closing all the time on NZ1. It's crunch time in Qatar. Heading for the line. NZ1 will get their second. Ahead of them, Racing for Cats will win. But who will be the champions? Well, Outer Limits hold the key. But they can't hold the bend. It's a hook, it's curtains. And Qatar 20 will finish third, and a tie on points with a 33. Well, that was quite something, and a race none of them will forget in a hurry, I'm sure. The analysis will go on well into the night. One thing for certain, had 43 hit the target with their first salvo, the Qatar Cup would be heading for America.
It's flat out the entire time, and at the start, we were out front, then Cancer got by us, and it was a good run. They drove really good, and we couldn't do much with them. And then we tried to make a late charge at the end, but with the way the format is set up, you have to run through the dirty water the entire race. So it makes it difficult, but it was a lot of fun. Those guys did really well. It was a lot of fun.
But I tell you what, that takes the cake today. The format's just worked out perfectly. We had boats coming together at the end there. I think it was yeah, it was fantastic, and I tell you, we worked that whole race.
You know, it's a battle. I tell you what, to come up from behind these, you know, the 525 boats, these guys are not easy to get by. I mean, that New Zealand boat, I mean, we threw everything we could at them to get by. And the Motley Crue boat, you know, we were going into the turn on the north end, and we actually hooked it. And it ended up that we came out, it was to our advantage. We hooked it too hard, but, you know, we got the inside line and we're able to accelerate out. So, you know, did a great job on the wheel. It's hey, these boats are a handful. You know, you look out here, you know, you just watch. It looks like we're just having a little, you know, Saturday afternoon cruise. But I can certainly tell you that, you know, it's a handful. He did a great job. For somebody who's never run, you know, a race boat before, you know, he was choosing good lines and really aware of his surroundings and what's going on. And I told him, don't get used to this. You know, the first time you go racing, you get a checkered flag. I said, these are hard to come by.
Well, that's for sure. Tied on points and separated by a lapse time over the two races, Qatar 20 are the champions by a cat's whisker. And so, in the shadows of another beautiful sunset here in Doha, it's time for the winners to take a bow as this remarkable event draws to a close. Bringing together different cultures and race classes to compete under one umbrella, it has been an unqualified success for the Qatar Marine Sports Federation and its president. And ample proof of what can be achieved if you think only of the sport. For me, Peter Butler, see you next time.